don't even know. I'm so tired. All right. Welcome to TSFS. The election is still going on. So we don't have any results really as far as who our next president is, if it remains President Trump or if it is Vice President Joe Biden. It is such a close race. I wanted to, look, obviously I would say for this show, I do the least amount of politics. I'm going to be honest with you. If Trump gets reelected, I think I'm going to just launch a political show because that's all people are going to want to consume for the next 4 years. I'm live on Twitch, on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitter. So the Sarah Fraser Show, start a watch party on Facebook. I'd love for you to get in the comments right now and tell me how you are feeling. I know many of us are feeling anxious. Are you? Or are you not surprised? Because I have to say, I think there's a lot of people maybe that aren't surprised by what's going down right now. Like maybe people knew. I'm at a loss for words, and I'm going to say this. In a way, I'm shocked because, and I got to ask you guys, are you going to ever pay attention to another political poll ever again in your life? Ever? Write it in the comments. Will you ever believe an election poll? Election polls from news outlets across the platform, conservative, non-conservative, had Biden winning by a slam dunk. We know right now the Electoral College is tightening. I know our producer, Alyssa, is going to bring it up. I think you've got President Trump at 214. You've got Joe Biden at 223, 230. Such a close, tight race. I'm with you. I'm asking you guys if you'll ever believe another political poll. I'm going to tell you, I'm so disillusioned with the reporting of this election. I mean, here we go. Joe Biden, 238, 213, very, very tight. It's coming down to, you got Michigan going to make a huge make or break moment. Pennsylvania, as you guys know. Obviously, Arizona went blue. Ryan says he's pissed. I'm not surprised. Erica said, now what I love about Erica is Erica's very intuitive. She has an amazing podcast. And Erica, write your podcast in the comments so people can find it. You're an intuitive. And you know what's interesting? I've talked to and seen a lot of intuitives over the past week say that President Trump would be reelected. That's why I've got to tell you, I'm not shocked. But this is what I want to know. You guys, this whole thing is such a game changer for so many reasons, despite who wins. Are you noticing? And this is what I'm blown with, because the narrative out there is that people of color do not support the Republican Party. But now we know that's not true. We're seeing huge, bigger numbers for Latin votes in Florida, Trump winning Florida. A lot of Latin voters, Cuban voters coming out, voting Republican. Here's Reuters put up, okay, this was fascinating to me. Now, this is 18 hours ago, and the breakdown is different from state to state. In Florida, Trump winning 5 out of 10 Latino voters versus 4 of 10 in 2016. Write to me this. Why do people... Because the narrative has been that Trump is a racist, is a xenophobe, is a homophobe. Why do you have people of color voting? You've got 3 out of 10 non-white voters versus 2 out of 10 in 2016. Now, look, these numbers to me are clearly higher, obviously, because we've had the highest turnout rate, early turnout rate, voter turnout rate we've ever had in this country, right? So obviously you're going to be getting higher numbers. 5 out of 10 white women, college graduates versus 6 out of 10. Now, so those are the suburban, educated, college white women. That dropped a little. He had a much bigger support, obviously, in 2016. I'm going to be honest. I think this could go either way. Either way. Do I think Biden can still get this? Yeah. Do I think I still think Biden will get it, but we know the Senate and House are going to remain Republican. I'm from the great state of Maine. Susan Collins is going to be reelected. Most expensive Senate seat race ever. Kara says all the info is a narrative. I mean, I want to know. I want to hear from you. If you're a person of color, are you shocked? You've got Black voters coming out for Republicans. And this whole narrative as well, that the Republican Party is dying, that people are not supporting the Republican Party. I don't know how you guys feel, but don't you think that's false? It don't look like it when we bring up the map. We're awfully red. Here's what I'm blown at. And tell me, and I'd also be curious. I'm asking a ton of questions. I'm throwing a lot at you. What do people vote about then? Because the thing that I cannot believe about President Trump is it seems like voters, okay, we know the Latin community, we know people of color hit hardest by the coronavirus, all right? Still voting. So my shocking thing about President Trump is it seems as though people are turning out and no one's holding him accountable for you. People don't believe that he could have done better for us for coronavirus. He's on tape with Bob Woodward. That's what I'm blown about. We're in the middle of the worst pandemic of all time. We know this blew away the flu. People don't seem to, but it's like that doesn't register. I guess people don't hold him accountable for that. Ryan says, and I'd love to know, so what do you think people are voting for? Latin community destroyed by coronavirus. But I guess that doesn't matter. I don't know. Look, I'm just curious and putting this out there because I have no idea. The only thing I know for sure is I am looking for news sources of information. This is why I'm obsessed with Joe Rogan, because I do believe Joe is one of the few people that is having thinkers on of all different backgrounds. And these people who are, they're cast aside by society, at least on social media, yet seem to have the pulse on what's really happening in our country. Kara says the Republican Party and Democratic parties are far left or right. So, Kara, do you think that really Americans are centrist, that people really want to be in the center? And that they can't, but they're identifying with the Republican Party in huge ways, I think. Margot says she lives in Florida. Living in Florida, you would be shocked with the support from the color community. I'm not shocked. I will tell you what was a turning point for me. I believed the narrative that's put out in the media that people of color do not support. I believed that for a long time, and even with BLM. But I'll tell you, a year ago. My mom, okay, she came down from Maine. She and her girlfriend, remember when President Trump had a 4th of July parade, and he was going to bring out the tanks? My mom wanted to go. She wanted to see what it would be like. You guys, the day I sat in Washington, D.C. on Constitution Avenue for his 4th of July party, and the streets were littered with white, Asian, Black, Hispanic. It was the most diverse crowd waiting to see those tanks ever. I thought to myself, it's all a lie. That people of color do not support President Trump is a complete lie. After I went to that parade, I was blown. I thought it was going to be a sea of white people, right? Because that's the portrayal. I sat there, I go, you can't be serious. You can't be serious. It was the most diverse crowd. So I don't believe that anymore. People vote what they think he stands for and aligns with their religious views and interests. Okay, M. Rosa, I believe you. And here's the thing, right? I guess the truth of the matter is, even though we think, especially I think younger people are more socially open, right? My thing is I'm socially open. I don't care if you're gay, straight, I'm for gay marriage, obviously. I'm pro-choice, I am. Late-term abortion, I have a little bit harder of a time with, I'm not going to lie, if we're being honest here today. And what do we have left but honesty? Because obviously people lied throughout the whole leading up for this. So, but I'm curious, I guess people vote for their religious beliefs, right? So they're anti-abortion. They want to keep him in. That's why a lot more people in this country are anti-abortion than they are, I guess, woman's right to choose, not pro-life, woman's right to choose. Sorry. Rich says, Julius, right. Rich old white male privilege is at its best. But here's the thing. But Julius, is it because you see people of all backgrounds voting? I don't know. I thought that was true, but I don't think that's totally true anymore. Okay, is it New York, Leah? You have to look at the votes by county, not by the whole state. Okay, well, that's a good point, And but for you, Leah, what does that show? Because certainly in Florida, it still shows Latin community coming out in big numbers for the Republican Party. Mitch McConnell reelected. Lindsey Graham reelected. Now I got to tell you, Susan Collins, I am from Maine, and Susan made some fatal mistakes in the past 4 years. But Susan, and even former President George W. Bush, I know a lot of people watching this are not huge fans of him. He and Laura Bush came out and endorsed her. She has done right by Maine in a lot of ways. BIW is a big shipbuilding company up there that builds ships, obviously naval ships, military. She's fought for a long time for those guys, men and women, to continue in union, making amazing wages. They have, and here's the thing, unfortunately for Sarah Gideon, she's not a true Mainer. She's a Rhode Islander who now lives in Maine. My Mainers, my New Englanders, they love a tried and true Mainer. And she's from up north, up in a rustic county, up in the county. And that's what people So Susan's my exception. Now, I know a lot of people don't like that. She obviously didn't vote for Amy Coney Barrett. She voted for Kavanaugh, which people really hated. So that was something, she voted, and she does have a spotty record back in 2007, 2008, when President Obama wanted the relief package, which he ended up getting when we bailed out big business. She voted against that. Then she voted for the stimulus package here for coronavirus. So, but I think what people like about Susan Collins is she's this voice that I think stands in the middle. Now, do you believe that? But I think Mainers do, and they're going to give her another shot. I think she's getting 4 more years. Now, wait, Liz, I want to know what you said. I don't even think it should be about being Republican at this point. You can be Republicans and not have voted for a man that literally has zero interest in helping the people of our country. It truly makes me question where we are as a country. I can't believe so many still are following his every word. We are losing our humanity. Liz girl, I mean, I like this, and I'm just peeking out from your eyes. Liz, I don't know. Here's the thing. I think, and you guys can agree or disagree with this, but I think one of the problems that's happening in the Democratic Party and the social movement that is happening, right, with BLM, with, equality, all those things, of course, we need to work towards. Absolutely. There's a problem. But I think these social movements, my husband and I argue about this all the time. They don't want any nuance. So I think you have people that are good people, but, if they make a mistake or they do something, then, their business is destroyed. They're considered racist forever. I think the problem is like, we have to, as independents, as Democrats, you got to have nuance to these social things. You can't throw everybody away because they don't do everything you say all the time. And I think that's what's leading a lot of people to go, no, I'm going to vote conservative. People believe what they want to believe and don't actually see what's going on. Okay, but I think that works both sides, right? All these outlets, all these social media, you go on social media, if you go on social media, you believe that younger people are out there driving things. Well, that didn't happen. We're seeing that's like not even true. I don't know. I need to have some experts on here. I want to have so many experts because now I'm like, oh, we gotta figure this out. One of the other interesting races I was following in Baltimore was Kim Klosiak. She put out a really controversial. She was on The View. She put out a 20% below poverty rate in Baltimore. She was running for the council seat there and ended up losing. Conceded last night. That was interesting to me because she got a lot of momentum. She got an endorsement by President Trump, but Baltimore didn't seem to come out, in Prince George's County didn't seem to come out for her. Conservative voice, conservative Black woman. She basically argued on the whole thing that Democrats in Baltimore have done not enough for the city, but she did not win. So that one was interesting to me because I actually thought she'd have serious momentum. Okay, Amanda says the media continue to get it wrong, and this proves they have been disconnected to the voters. Really won't. I agree. The polls have been way off leading up to the election. Amanda, preach. So, but here's my thing is what's driving that? You have some of the greatest thinkers on these shows, from Fox to MSNBC, to CNN, to CBS. You have so what's the deal? Who's driving the narrative then? I'm with you. I feel like, who's lost the biggest so far in this is the media. How do you go on and run a news program when you've gotten everything completely wrong? How are these news outlets going to continue to get viewers? Because to me, you're going to see so many more voices like a Joe Rogan pop up. And even my producer, Melissa, and I were talking about Candace Owens. Who on the left is a voice like Candace Owens? That chick seems to motivate people. She gets them out like crazy. But who does it on the left? Who has that big of a following? Will, hold up Will's comment. Will, I'm going to tell you right now, if I'm getting my conspiracy hat on, and I don't believe in any conspiracies, but I'm going to let one fly today. I truly believe Trump is good for business. He's good for the media business. He's good. What are these shows going to do? What is John Oliver going to have to rant about when Biden wins? I actually think you have a theory. I think they want him to win. And they've created this narrative like, oh, Biden's going to win, Biden's going to win. And then it's like shock and upset and blame it on the American people when the media is rooting for him too. I actually believe that. And you can think I'm batshit crazy and you can put it in the comments. But I think there's actually truth to that because he is great for business. Ratings have never been higher for these networks who get it all wrong. They don't give a fuck. They're raking in huge advertising dollars. Genesis says, I feel like I've been binged eating Taco Bell and about to explode. I can't take this. I mean, I can't take it either. I can't take it either. Now, I will say this, some fascinating drug news across the country. Decriminalizing heroin, mushrooms in Washington, D.C., in Oregon State. How do you feel about this? I'm excited about this because I wonder if, there's long been a theory by decriminalizing drugs, we're going to actually help people who are addicted to drugs get help versus, you get caught with heroin, you get caught distributing cocaine, you're going to jail for like 25 years. Okay. I'm curious about this. Now, I will say I went to lunch over the weekend with my dear friend who has high school kids. She says now that drugs like marijuana are completely legal, she says the kids abuse like marijuana more than ever because they don't see it as a drug. So what do you think legalizing heroin? This is where, do you catch yourself becoming your parents? Like I can hear my parents being like, heroin and cocaine are horrible. Yeah, they are. Okay. Here, Sunda says heroin girl. Yes. Heroin has been legalized. And Alyssa, is it legalized in Washington State or is it legalized in Oregon? I want to make sure I got the state right. It is decriminalized heroin. Yes, girl. Yes. Across the magic mushrooms decriminalized here in Washington, D.C. Okay. Now, shrooms, I don't know. Does anyone, isn't shrooms supposed to help you get to like nirvana or something? Aren't we all supposed to be doing shrooms to like cure our depression? Because everybody's going to those ceremonies, those acai, oh God, no, they're not acai bowl ceremonies. They're, oh my God, what are they called? They're, oh God, you go down to Peru and then you do ayahuasca. Yes. It's like ayahuasca. And Jamaicans do mushrooms, but they think we're bananas. When you go to Jamaica, you can do a mushroom ceremony, but they're like, yeah, you only do it if you're actually physically sick. Jamaicans are like, the fuck are you all on? They're not they don't use shrooms like we do. They think we're bananas. And the Jamaicans are probably 100% right. Oregon decriminalizes small amounts of heroin and cocaine. So I'm curious to see what this fallout has. Does this encourage younger people to do these drugs because now they know the consequences are slim? Or does it help people who are addicts get true help? I'm drinking water this morning because I can't even drink alcohol. Stephanie says they're legalizing marijuana. They need to release all these people in jail. Hey, great point. There's another business. I don't know if they will. I love it. Let's get people help. Margot, I'm big on getting people help. Addiction is such a complicated issue. Oh my God. And anybody, so many of you guys watching and I'm so proud of my brother. I talk about him all the time because he's 9 years sober from alcohol. And it's like anybody that's had an addict in their family, it is the most devastating thing. You want so much help for them. So I'm totally here about that. I'm curious to see what the fallout will be. Guys, I want to know who you're going to listen to. Who are the voices that you're going to follow post this election, even if Joe Biden wins? Because even if Joe Biden wins, how wrong were all these polls? How wrong were all the commentators? How wrong were all the newspapers don't really exist? They're just like online. So who are the voices that you're going to follow? So I'm curious about that. I like to know. I want to get some intellectual thinkers on here. Because let's be honest, my intellectual thinking usually ends at Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. So here's just all I'm saying is from what I'm seeing from the country, it's like, okay, I'm never watching another news outlet again. None of these are accurate. Brooke says, yes, I completely feel like my parents. I have never been since a teenager about drugs, so this blows my mind. Brooke, I got to tell you, I got a girlfriend. She's got 3 high school kids. She says kids now use marijuana like we did drinking, which was, of course, illegal if you were under 21. But now they don't see it as a crime. So and you have to think like, it can't be, obviously people use marijuana for different things, but at the end of the day, if you're smoking weed every single day to get through the day, I think that's an addict too. You've got issues. Bree says, I don't even watch the news anymore since quarantine. So when do felons start their process to get records expunged for weed? What would it take? You know what? Here's the deal. I think this is what I understand that people are frustrated about. You know what, Genesis? Because you would think decriminalizing it in these states. Now, again, it's not in every state, but in these states that we would release people for jail, right? But it's not going to happen. The only way you're going to get expunged is if you can afford an expensive lawyer because they can keep appealing. And then, So that's where I understand people are frustrated, because it's like our judicial system, who does it work for? Who doesn't have money? If you have money, hey, you're all good. You're getting out of things most of the time, you know? Lori Loughlin. Now she's going to jail for 2 months, but she's going to like a jail where you can get to do yoga. The fuck is that? I mean, that bitch should be like doing serious dishes. She's not doing that. Instead, she's working on her makeup and crocheting. Okay, who are people are putting? Oh, people are. Let's see. I want to get some other comments. It's undercover Trump supporters giving false information. Hey, so Ryan? Why do you think that people are undercover? So they don't want to get in arguments, right, with anyone. So they just low key what? Tell us. I guess they must tell us to our face that they're Biden supporters, and then they support Trump. I'm blown. Like I said at the beginning of this, to me, the biggest thing is we're going on 250,000 Americans dead from coronavirus. I mean, those are people's loved ones, family, young kids. So you don't hold him responsible for that? You don't think this has been entirely mismanaged? That's to me what I'm blown. But like I said, I can't even believe it, because at the polls, clearly that didn't resonate for anybody of any background. That was like, c'est la vie. Okay. I mean, I don't even know. Will says, no one has a squeaky clean past anymore. I think people are too scared to cancel culture to lead and be honest, to be the voice of a progressive movement. Will, send Will a link. Will needs to be live. Will, every point you're making is so true. It's the truth. This is my only issue with like leftist leaning voices. The cancel culture has become so bananas. And what comes to mind is the Minneapolis guy, an Indian man who had a restaurant, right? And his daughter put a bunch of racist things on her Facebook page. He fired the daughter. And yet still you had these leftist voices going, we're all organizing to close his restaurant down. The fuck you want him to do? I mean, it's like, that's the shit. I think people go right to the polls and they go, screw it, 4 more years of Trump. Like, I don't want to do. That's where it's like, we need nuance. You can't throw everyone else out because they don't do exactly what you say. That's the stuff that I think people are rejecting. They're here with the leftist voice. They're here for a progressive future. But then people do shit like that, and it gets picked up and it gets reshared. And then people go, oh, fuck this. I'm not conservative. Will, you're nailing it. Okay, Will, I have a follow-up question to that. So Will believes that cancel culture has made people afraid to become a voice of progression. So Will, how do we combat that? Who becomes the progressive voice? You think just someone's got to be willing to jump in the fire? Like, Will, what do you think? Because Will says no one's got a squeaky clean past. So what? Okay. So who emerges as that voice? All right. I love all your thoughts, guys. I know everybody's feeling a whole array of emotions. So thank you for being on. If there's a topic that you want to discuss, or you feel you have any prediction of where this race is going, I've been watching everybody's stuff. You know, I'm also, I follow Barstool. Mostly my husband got me into it. And then I oddly like Dave Portnoy. Not all of his political stuff. He declared Trump a winner. Trump declared himself a winner. Then, of course, we don't know if he's a winner. Nothing has been called. You know, we're still waiting on some big states to come in. I do still think Biden could really get this, but it's going to be a tough 4 years. Where does the Democratic Party go from here? Ryan says, yes, but it also tells people that are voting for Biden that they are safe. People stayed home in 2016 and Hillary was polling so far ahead. Guys, I mean... April Banks. Hi, everybody. April, how are you feeling? How are you feeling on this election day when we don't know anything? My birthday is tomorrow, something light. Yes, April, have a fabulous birthday. Girl, party it up. Buy yourself something fabulous. I mean, you know what? Treat yourself. Because if there's anything that we know from all these damn elections, it's like, is anything predictable? Hell no. Honestly, we should have had gypsies and, psychics predicted this. I mean, they would have done as good a job. Although I am with Will Onyx. I believe the media wants Trump to be reelected because he's good for business. If we didn't have anything to argue and fight about, what are we going to talk about? Okay, I think I liked undercover supporters is 100% true. I went on Trump's Facebook page and the amount of people who were posting about silent support he has. Jenna says, I'm with you. I'm with you. I think the undercover support is insane. It's insane. Brooke says, yes, I think in suburbs, a lot of people were undercover Trump supporters. I see it in the city now. Parents down the school systems, but it's because it's not white enough. Really, in cities where, like DC, in Boston, they want schools whiter. Tell me more about that. I want to know more about that. Okay. Oh, sorry. I keep clicking. Will says, you hit it before. We have to go just to as radical as the right. It's scary. And the DNC is too old and out of touch. Okay. But when you say we got to go as radical as the right, what do people have to do? You don't think Biden being this like Sleepy Joe, not the good candidate, who should we have put up? Who should be, if you hadn't put up Biden, who should you put up? I got to hit some commercials. Leave it in the comments. Do you think the DNC, do you think the Democratic Party, the answer is you have to go even more left? See, I don't know. I want to say that's a great strategy, but I don't know. Because, I mean, I don't think people voted one iota on climate change this year. Do you? I mean, I'm being honest. Like, someone tell me, I don't know. I don't know how you appeal to people about climate change. And I think now AOC did get reelected in the Bronx in her district. But I don't know. I mean, I guess Bernie, time for both parties to get younger. Paul, I agree. Look, I think as long as I was saying this to my producer, and then I'll hit 2 commercials and you guys tell me what else that we need to talk about today, because I know people are very anxious. Mayor Pete needs to run the next cycle. Hey, I agree. But from all these red states, do you think that, I mean, I used to think like, hey, okay, Mayor Pete, awesome. Gay, openly gay, fabulous. I mean, fabulous in the sense, like, I think he's empathetic, he's, smart, all these things. But do you think now that the United States is ready to elect a gay president? I don't know. I want to say yes, but I'm so confused, y'all. It's like I'm in a corn maze and I've taken like 4 right turns. I don't know how to get out. The whole system needs to be reinstructed. The DNC does. I agree. And I think too, the thing that, to me, the thing that's so disappointing about the DNC and the RNC is most of these senators are uber rich. They're all rich, or they get in, then they become rich. They're all backed by lobbyists. That's, to me, like, I just feel like everybody can be bought. And it's like, that's what I loved about Bernie in 2016. I feel like he was the one person that could be bought the least. Bernie and Elizabeth Warren about as far left as you can go, but I can tell you they would not have anywhere near this close of a race. Bree, I agree with you. The country isn't ready for an extreme leftist. So, guys, but this makes me wonder, because probably you all know this better. So, but people loved President Obama. President Obama was really well loved. In a lot of ways, ironically, kept up conservative policies. So if you're thinking about keeping, President Obama kept our military in Afghanistan, in Iraq, hunted down ISIS for 8 years, killed Osama bin Laden, right? Continued that hunt, finished that, which, by the way, I mean, I think, you're seeing ISIS rear its head in attacks across the country. I think the other thing we're very vulnerable about is, terrorists still do not, democracy is under attack. People do not want to see this country succeed. So my thing is, how are we at this place? Because people did overwhelmingly like President Obama. So are we just don't have another candidate like President Obama? What do we think? Not only that, but, President Obama's administration, and of course, Joe Biden, they had very tough deportation laws, extremely tough. Yet, no one seemed to have too much of an issue with that. Brooke says, we definitely need a new party. Most people that voted for Trump wanted capitalism. They just think DNC is too socialist right now. I agree. And capitalism needs to be reformed. I agree with you. Look, it's getting out of hand. I'm all for Amazon. I love that I can get shit in a day. You know what? If I want a giant, 12-foot tree, Jeff Bezos can deliver it to my door the next day for free. I love that. But Bezos is becoming a monopoly. Did you hear he wants to buy CNN? We're going to allow Bezos. No, old school monopoly laws. Okay. This guy owns now the Washington Post, Whole Foods, and Amazon. Okay. I don't need you controlling my salmon distribution, my news. No, this guy needs to be broken up. I'm for some capitalism. Okay. But here's what I'm also for. we do need unions, because guess what? In these big companies, they don't want to pay you shit. They don't want to pay any of us shit. That's why unions are great, because they've created people like our parents. They've helped our parents of all different colors. Once you're in a union, have a path to owning a home, to creating generational wealth. That's what I don't like about the RNC. They want to get rid of all that shit. No, because capitalism run amok. Jeff Bezos shouldn't be paying. I mean, maybe you pay somebody part-time that works at Amazon $30,000, but the salaries at Amazon should be off the hook. Whole Foods too. Okay. But that's the thing that drives me nuts about capitalism, is where is although you see more companies, I think, trying to treat their employees better and better, hopefully with more money and a path to people getting richer. Because I worry about younger generations. Some of these people, I was talking to my producer, right, who's 24 years old. Jobs now, I mean, I can't even imagine. 10 years ago when I worked in radio, the salaries were insanely good, hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. I don't think those jobs exist that much now for people at 27, 28. People say, wouldn't be surprised if Governor Larry Hogan runs for president nominee next cycle. I like Larry Hogan, but do you think, I don't know, is Larry Hogan's going to have to be awfully strong in staying in the middle. All right, let me get to commercials. My producer's saying you got to do them. I love my guy, Barry Harley. Guys, if you own a business, you need fabulous photographs that you can put on your social media, on your website, and you can also send to clients. Barry Harley is an architectural photographer in the DMV area. He's Marriott approved and won several awards for his fabulous photography. BarryHarley.com is the website. Check him out. So whether you've got a restaurant, whether you've got an auto shop, whether you've got a new space and you just want to photograph your team, Barry is your guy. Check him out today. He's got some beautiful things on BarryHarley.com, his website, and on Barry Harley Instagram. Also, Rothy's, for everybody out there that loves comfortable shoes and handbags, Rothy is the place. Have you heard about this company making stylish shoes and handbags for women and girls out of recycled plastic water bottles? There you go. Thank you for having a conscience. Oh, and they're insanely comfortable and machine washable. Rothy's has quickly grown to a most loved, gotta have theme brand. It's no surprise they have over 1,000 nearly perfect reviews. Rothy's come in a wide range of colors and patterns, and they're available in 4 different stilettos, and as well as new line of handbags for fall, all guaranteed to find the one that you love. Also, if they get dirty, boom, you can throw everything in the wash. It's dishwasher safe. It's washable safe. One Hulu editor recently called them the most comfortable flats I have ever owned. Go to rothys.com. That's ROTHYS.com/Frase to get your favorite flats. Comfort, style, and sustainability. These are the shoes you've been waiting for. Head to rothys.com/Frase today and buy your shoes. Okay. Love all your thoughts and opinions. I could stay on here all day. I mean, do we have any new update results? I'll give you some fire round here of things. Kanye West got 57,000 votes nationwide. I don't think that's that many. A lot of people said, oh God, another sign how stupid Americans are. 57,000, we're at 300 million here. That's like a fraction of a fraction. It sounds like his own wife didn't even vote for Kanye. Kanye, I love the free thinker. He's incredibly creative. I think he should become a preacher. If you want to go to his church, great. If you don't, you don't. I don't think his political career is going anywhere. So anyway, Kanye West out of the race, if you wanted that update. Lady Gaga's dad getting a bunch of heat. They have the restaurant Joanne's in New York City. Lady Gaga came out for Biden over the past couple of days, voting Biden. Then her father tweeted, hey, I love my daughter, but I got different political beliefs. Can you imagine? Putting it out there, guys. There you go. There's another one. Lil Wayne's girlfriend dumped him after his endorsement of Trump. I'm going to be honest. I think they'll be back together. Do you think after all those years, that's all it took? See, that's my other thing. Are you guys unfriending people on family members, not speaking to them over their political beliefs? That's the thing I find hard to do. Now, my husband, it's easier for him. My husband is he makes me look like Nikki Haley. I mean, he is the most liberal. Okay, he should run the DNC. All right. He is the most far left. It is unbelievable. Okay. And he's ready to cut anybody out. I'm like, you can't cut out people with opposing views. And this is what I think just empowers the Republican Party. People are tired of this shit. They want to feel like they can question political beliefs and not have you unfriend them on social. Just the truth. I think that's the reality. Sorry. And I'm not unfriending people that disagree with me. I like to know what other people are thinking. April Banks wants to know if Kim Kardashian voted for Trump. She didn't, no, or for her husband, Kanye. No, people are putting together the dots. She retweeted Kamala Harris. And then I think she even might have commented or something on Elizabeth Warren. People are saying, no, she did not vote for her own husband. Okay. People are saying that Lil Wayne's girlfriend probably dumped him until she needs the money. I think she's a model in her own right. I think she makes decent money. To me, I'm like, I don't buy that, because you live with somebody, you've dated somebody for like 2+ years. You didn't know he had conservative thoughts. Like, he changed on a dime and then you broke up with him. Okay. I don't believe it. Like, I think she's doing it because it's in vogue. Like, people are like, good for you, but I think they'll be back together. Laura says, I don't know why people are surprised that there are a lot of undercover Trump supporters. If anyone vocalizes that they support him, they're labeled as racist and homophobic. Laura, look, the truth of the matter is you nailed it. And, okay, Dan's texting me, stop spreading lies. Okay. Shvan, all right, fine. You're not, okay, he's a moderate voice. I take it back. He's a moderate voice. He doesn't want to be attached to any political party. So there, clearing the air. Obviously, Shvan's watching my live stream. Anyway, I'll leave my husband out of it. He's not in politics, and nor is he a public figure. I am. And I'll tell you what, I'm ready to be swayed. Like, I would like a progressive voice. Like, can't we do something good for like our country? I mean, here's the thing. We have to leave this place better for better generations. We've got to create a path to like middle class. There's no path for that now. Patricia says, I agree. We can have different opinions and views and we can still be family and friends. I agree. I agree with you. To me, cutting people out, I think, is how we're ending up here. Laura says the left is intolerant of any opposing viewpoints. See, I don't know if that's true, but I think that they get labeled more. I think that the RNC is great at portraying it like, oh, leftist people are they're not open. I don't know that if you've got a true Trumper, I don't think they're open to hearing anything about Biden. I don't think they believe it. I mean, people still fucking believe that Hillary Clinton is like running some child sex ring at, Comet Pizza. So I don't think that the right is completely tolerant either. All right. Are there any other stories? Look, you guys have weighed in. Thank you for thinking, thank you for putting all this. Cause I really, it's hard to know what people are thinking, except for I know everything that the media's put out of what people are thinking is incorrect. That's all I know. Who's going to win? I don't know. I still think Biden is going to win by a hair, but are we going to know by the end of this week? I have no idea. Bree says, I would have no family to talk to if I cut people off who are Trump supporters. I'd lose 50% of my family. I'll tell you that, if I were being honest. Ryan says, same with the homophobia. My rule is I unfriend for hate speech and racist homophobic. That's a good rule. I think that's a fair rule. Ryan says, false, Laura. He thinks that it's not the Democratic Party that are intolerant. I think both parties are intolerant, really. Like I said, I agree with Will. Will Onyx is like who I would follow. I think you got to have somebody that's willing to stand in the middle and, is open to nuance and is willing to like hold their, maybe it's Larry Hogan, maybe it's somebody else, because it's like insane how, mispolled this entire situation was. Melissa says we need to come. This is like the last comment, then I'll let you guys go. I wanted to also promote tomorrow on a much lighter note. Hopefully we'll be in a different place. But if you're not watching the TLC show, I Love a Mama's Boy. Hello, epic. Epic. It is so good. It is about 4 sets of moms and their sons and these overbearing moms. So tomorrow, Shakib, Emily, and Layla are on the show. How do you know this couple? Well, Layla shaves her grown son's back. He's 32 years old. She shaves his back. She bathed him until he was nearly 12. Now, I asked him if that's true or if that was taken out of context. He answers tomorrow. Also, Layla, the mother, who is of Arab descent, has been accused of racism because she has come out and said she only wants her son to marry a Muslim woman. So I asked her, is she a racist tomorrow? She'll answer that. Also, Matt on the show. Now, this is a different couple. Matt and Kim and Kelly. Kelly is Matt's mom. Okay. He's with Kim. A lot of people have attacked him for being gay. So I asked them because they know all the couples, they admit, is there any truth to that? And what do they think about the internet basically saying that Matt is probably his sexuality is in question. So it's going to be a great interview. Let me tell you, they dish all. So if you are a TLC fan, they have some of the best reality TV programming on. It's insane. Full interview drops. You're going to want to be subscribed to my channel on YouTube, The Sarah Fraser Show. Same on iTunes, The Sarah Fraser Show, or you can catch me on Spotify. Here they are. Here's Layla and Shaquem. Also, how did they get cast on the show? Interesting story of how they got cast. Okay, I love you all. I mean, and look, I'm an internal optimist, so I'm sure people will hate that. Like, fuck you, take a side. I feel like it's like the Candace and Monique fight, on Real Housewives of. I really can equate politics to like housewives. It's like you got to choose a side. Nobody wants you in the middle. But this is the thing. I'm in the middle, and it's so hard. But I do feel like we're seeing people in the middle. I hope. Debbie says, I love this discussion. Nuance, yes. Well, look, I'm running on the nuance party where every situation is going to have nuance. I think that's what we need. I think that's missing. Anyway, okay, I'm thinking of all of you. We'll continue this conversation. Definitely leave me a comment, by the way, if there's like some political voice, I guess, that predicted anything accurately. Let me know. I'd love to have them on. If there's someone that actually knows nuance, love to have them on. Brooke also says, if you live in another state like Texas, they aren't tolerant of Biden supporters. We just live in a blue area. Girl, I agree. All right, here are my maintenance guys here. Okay, bye, everybody. I love you. Be sure to leave me a review. 5 stars on iTunes under the Sarah